Good afternoon, gang. It's still Tuesday, and I'm swollen, but still here. So, paying attention to what's going on, and I wanted to bring up something that hasn't been touched upon anywhere else that I've seen so far, but it's something to make us think. Uh, Constantine over at Inside Russia put up a fabulous video late this morning about what is going on with some footage from everything in Kazakhstan. Okay. And it's definitely worth your while going to watch it because, as you guys well know, the news wasn't allowed to do anything. They shut down the internet, yada, yada, yada. But people had taken cell phone video, and obviously he knows people there and has contacts of getting some of this information. So he was able to post quite a bit of video on different things that are going on out there to kind of tell you what the truth is. Now, we all know that a couple of days ago, the Kazakh government gave the authorities shoot to kill orders. Okay, and apparently, I guess it was somewhere around 164 people were killed in these protests, and some 8,000 people were arrested. Okay, now, if you watch some of the video that Constantine puts, and I completely agree with his commentary, it got to the point of this wasn't protests anymore. This was flat out looters. I mean, it looked like Antifa had just stormed Kazakhstan. I mean, this looked like Seattle last summer. Okay. Now, I'm not saying the police need to go out and shoot them in the streets, but the 8,000 arrests were probably well warranted. So, of course, what happened next is Russia sent peacekeeping troops into Kazakhstan, and there's video all over the place of vehicles driving and having rocks thrown at them, or troops getting off of planes, or whatever it is. I mean, it doesn't take anything for you guys to go find this sort of stuff. It's everywhere. Okay. But there was something that was very disturbing to me. And as a prepper, I've told you guys many times, I try to learn from events. Chances of a hurricane hitting me, not good in Tennessee. Okay, hurricanes don't usually wind up in the mountains, but I can learn something from what happens to others. The derecho, tornadoes, wildfires. It makes me think and say, okay, how can I take that situation and apply it to my own? Well, when I was kind of doing some research here over the last couple of days, reading stories, trying to find what's going on and everything like that, I did find something that was very alarming, I guess, if you will. Now, like I said, the Russians went in to Kazakhstan as peacekeepers. Nobody else. Now, for those of you guys that are old enough to remember the movie The Dirty Dozen, okay, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, great cast and everything. If you remember the scene or groups of scenes with the war games where Lee Marvin's gang, if you will, had to take the commanding general prisoner, okay, and how they wound up doing it. Okay, it was actually a pretty easy deal. They switched their armbands from red to blue, and back from blue to red, and so any of the opposing forces would have thought that they were on the same side. Okay, I mean, trust me, that's a common military tactic. Throughout my time down at Fort Bliss, I spent a lot of time training tankers because the 3rd Armored Cav is down there. And I was training tankers on how to handle prisoners of war. And so when they were out on maneuvers out in the desert there, myself and the rest of my platoon would all dress up in Soviet uniforms, and we would go get ourselves captured and show the tanker they'd capture us, do whatever the hell they wanted to do to us. And then afterwards we would critique them and tell them everything they did wrong. And my favorite part of that one was one time when I had a mini 9mm down the front of my pants. Okay, and when they searched me, there ain't no guy in the world that wants to grab somebody else's junk. And so he missed that. And so afterwards, you got Top standing there in front of his entire company like this. That's how you search a prisoner. And I looked at my LT, and LT just kind of shook his head, and I pulled it out. And I said, Top, bang, you're dead. Because I had a gun on me. All right. But it's very common to use, enemy uniform. I mean, I don't care where you go. Go to Hogan's Heroes, comedy show from the 70s, and how many times Bob Crane and his whole gang there were dressing up in Nazi uniforms. It's not something that you're not going to see. But what we saw in Kazakhstan here over the last few days, and I'm going to show you a few pictures here real quick. Okay, take a look at this. This is Kazakh forces wearing blue helmets that say UN on the side. The UN was not in Kazakhstan as peacekeepers. The UN was not there at all. Okay. We talk about being gray man all the time. Not being noticed, whatever. Many people have asked, how are we going to know who's friend and who's foe in an SHTF situation? Which, if you go watch Constantine's video, okay, that's spot on what could happen in the US and Canada and Australia and anything like that in an SHTF situation. And how do you know who is friend or foe? Just because they've got a red armband on or a blue armband on or a UN helmet or, a U.S. military versus a Chinese military uniform does not mean they are a friend. This is something that is going to be crucially important for you and your mag to know how to take care of in a situation in SHTF. Because I can guarantee you 100% that the militias, the militaries, the UNs, anything, any sort of organized military outfit is going to try to play gray man too and do whatever they can to blend into the civilian population, find out what is going on, and report back. You've all heard ad nauseum about, gee, should I join a militia? No, because every one of them has been infiltrated by the FBI. Okay, yeah, that's true. All right, why? Because they're not going in there with their ball cap on that says FBI on the top, and saying, hi, I'm here, I want to join. All right. But when they are brazenly coming out and saying UN, okay, and you think UN peacekeeper, if you were in that situation in Kazakhstan throughout all these riots, protests, insurrections, coup attempt, whatever you want to call it, okay, if you were in that situation, knowing that the Kazakh government has given shoot to kill orders to the point where the Kazakh military was actually shooting at reporters, okay, there's video out there on that too, shooting at the reporters' feet, and you see some guy walk towards you, weapon in hand, port arms, but he's got a UN helmet on. You go, okay, peacekeeper. He's going to try to stop this. And all of a sudden he goes, whoosh, pop, boom, you're done. That's what you have to worry about, guys. Because that is very, very probable if anything like this ever hits home soil. See y'all tonight. Pinball out.